like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Mr. Viera?
I'm here.
Dr. Vogt? Here. Dr. Selly? Here. Mrs. Wittes?
Here.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. Okay, our first item is engineering update. City Engineer, Laura.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? It's good to see
Hello.
everybody.
Yeah.
So I thought I would come in and just briefly provide an update. We have several projects moving within the city. First and foremost, I thought I would talk about the senior center. So I'm sure you're all aware, the contractor has mobilized out there. He started doing some site clearing work. He's also doing some building demolition type work. We're holding currently with him a monthly progress meeting, just so we have a schedule. We can make sure we're keeping to that schedule and hitting all the appropriate thresholds for the project. We do expect construction to be about 18 to 24 months, so there's going to be a substantial period of construction that's required to get the addition in, as well as the associated site work. Having said that, I confirmed today with our construction division that all the construction permits have at this point been issued, and they will be out as early as December 20th. They have an inspection already scheduled for the piles. So I thought I would just provide that by way of update. Happy to answer any questions specific to that project, otherwise I can just kind of move on.
Now, they're moving quick. I pass by every day. The piles are down.
Yep.
And they have all the forms ready for the footings already. They have the steel there already.
Yes.
Keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and they've been working through their
Yeah.
submittals. They factor in lead time on a couple of items. So, like I said, I'm confident with the contractor. They seem to really know what they're doing, and they're comfortable with the project scope.
All right, good.
Another project I thought I'd talk about is Westwood, what I'm gonna refer to as Westwood Phase 1. As the council may recall, we've received, as early as yesterday, we found out about a Phase 2 grant on Westwood. But the initial phase on Westwood was really opposite, I'll call it opposite the train track, so like the west side. And it was a mirror of the 3rd Avenue improvements. It was a streetscape project. The goal was, you know, the pavers, the pretty light fixtures, trees, albeit bigger trees than what are currently in on the 3rd Avenue side. We're gonna make sure they get inspected at installation, that the calipers are all correct. And that project limit, just so everyone aware, is really Jeffrey to Willow, and it does include west. So it incorporates that whole triangle, and it would be mirror the 3rd Avenue streetscape over in that area. It is funded through the DOT Transit Village partially. That's a $530,000 grant that we got through there. The design at this point is complete, and we're into the DOT. You need to get them to concur before a project can go out to bid. So we expect that this project will bid likely January, February, and we're hoping to get a contractor that can mobilize for March or April, so that we can actually see those improvements hit the ground.
And then Laura, that would be, as on the east side, about a 60-day project to construct?
Yes. Yes.
That's from the train tracks all the way down to Willow.
And from Jeffrey to Willow,
Yeah,
yes,
Jeffrey
that
starts
area.
at train tracks.
Includes West Street and Westwood.
Would talk about that you'll see on your council agenda this evening is we're submitting a local transportation project fund grant through the DOT. And I bring that up, coming off of the Westwood and 3rd Avenue projects. This is really a partnership project with transit to work on the pedestrian tunnel. So that tunnel would essentially provide access from the east side to the west side of the tracks. Currently, we have an at-grade crossing, is what I would call that. So if you exit the train, you actually have to cross the tracks to go to the west side. So what this is for is it's a grant to get funding for design specifically in order to facilitate a tunnel. We've met out there several times with transit. We've looked at, can we do something overhead? What is the best option? And ultimately we arrived at a tunnel. One of the benefits that I really think comes out of this project, aside from linking, is it also improves the ADA access out there. You know, I have found when I go to the train station, you sort of have to go to that central portion in order to get the, elevator, if you wanna get up. This will provide ramped access to where, when I go to Long Branch and I wanna take the train, it's like right as I turn in and I wanna go right up.
Yeah.
So this will provide that. It's also gonna provide a lot more green space. So it's gonna green the area, it's gonna beautify it, and I think when you look at all the work the city has done in that area, Third Avenue, what's happening on Westwood Avenue, this fits in nicely. So that is, a resolution that's before council this evening. What that resolution does is it just enables us to submit the grant. The grant technically is due by June, but I think we feel the earlier we get in, we would hear sooner. So I think we would hear earlier than June if we got the grant. And again, it's a partnership with Transit, likely Transit would be doing the design because it's their rail system. But I think it's a nice way to really show the investment in that area that the city has made.
So what do you think our chances are of getting the grant?
I'm pretty confident.
Oh, good.
What I will tell you is, the city is seeing, and again, I'm not sure if Lindsay, I'm happy to share that we found out yesterday that we were awarded, a Safe Streets to Transit grant for what I'm gonna call Phase 2 of Westwood, which is essentially Jeffrey down to where it merges with Third to Chelsea.
Okay.
And so we saw 774,000.
774.
So I think it was the third
Wow.
highest in the state. And, you know, we got the grant with Third Avenue, we got a Safe Streets on Morris Avenue, we have the Westwood Transit Village, so I think we're seeing the DOT's commitment. The DOT is certainly represented in meetings that they're really happy that Long Branch gets the grants and facilitates it into projects, so I think that's also helping us.
Yeah.
So I think when they see the investment the city's made, I think the tunnel becomes logical for them to do and put the investment in.
That's wonderful.
So that tunnel, you plan to put it where Morris Avenue was?
Yes.
I mean, just to Laura's point, when you look at what we, with the library, a lot of the grants, I think, overall, we're like very aggressive in that when we get these grants, we immediately start the process. And Laura talked about the senior center, we're doing the same thing with the library. We have an entire group that meets every single month to make sure we're all on the same page. Nothing is moving, we're moving forward. And I must say, with the senior center, if you're right, we started that as soon as we
October.
As soon as we got going, and we set a timeline and we literally stuck to it almost to the day.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
And we're still doing the same.
wonderful, yeah.
So I didn't think I'd go through anything. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council have, any other projects, anything else that's coming to mind. You know, happy to answer anything you guys may have.
The Long Branch Avenue project.
Yes.
That's not gonna get paid this year, is it?
It's not gonna get, it's not gonna get
think so.
paid this year. I was hopeful, but to
Yeah.
be honest, I spoke with Stan yesterday, and the drainage work is all done, and we're absolutely seeing a benefit of the improvements out there, the drainage improvements out there. I've monitored it, Stan's monitoring it. We saw with that one nor'easter over the summer, strictly a tidal impact, which I actually still expected, but it did also subside with the tide, which was a
Okay.
good thing. But to your point, I spoke to Stan. I really did want it paved this year, but even in speaking with Stan, asphalt plants close, as you know.
No, it's too cold for them.
And he said, you know what, he thinks we're better off to really let it settle and come back in the spring and really get a nice resurface on
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
So Laura, are there any connections, this may be entirely off base, just in terms of like lane markings and all that kind of stuff? I know that, let me just leave that as an open question, just in terms of bikes and roads. Any
So-
connection?
Sure, absolutely. We're including Sharrows, is
Okay,
what we've been
that's-
looking to
yeah.
do with all the projects.
Okay.
Morris Avenue will be complete with Sharrows. I added those, and I added them on Long Branch Avenue as well. So when that's finally surfaced, there will be Sharrows on the road.
Okay, good.
And that is the share the road,
Yep.
so travel lane and bike lane share.
Good, good, good.
Anyone else with any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Our next item is best practices, like Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the state has once again blessed us with a best practice inventory. As usual, they change up all the questions like they do every year. They throw in some repeat questions, but a lot of times They are new, and many times they are strictly survey questions, which we have many of this year. Strictly just for informational purposes, because they're comparing towns throughout the states, and this is the best way to gather information. We were very successful this year. We needed 24, I'm gonna say positive answers, because they weren't all yes, they were positive, meaning the way they want us to answer. And we got 32 and a half. So either we were assessed no penalty for state aid, and passed with flying colors. They asked questions that range from how we calculate health benefit contributions to perk questions to we file our statutory financial reports on time, all over the map. But we fared well. It's already been filed. We had to file the end of October, so this is kind of just a discussion of the results.
Is there any questions?
Good. Congratulations.
So Mike, is there anything you would, bring our attention to that, I know you said there's some new questions and stuff, and anything to make us aware of with
They
it?
seem very focused this year on the lead testing and the lead results in the houses and the grant usage and things like that, but I know the health department director is pretty on top of that, so I don't know what we'll do in that aspect. That seemed to be a big focus of their survey questions.
Any other questions?
Good.
No, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you did another great job, thank you. Okay, the next item, old business.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Any, new business? Review of the regular meeting agenda, any questions?
No question.
Okay, so I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt resolution 280-22 to go into executive session for 5 items. UEC, Community Development Director Jones, Contracts, Business Administrator DeAngelis, Municipal Property, Attorney Reno,